Right now, somewhere on the internet, a piece of network gear that's supposed to protect a network is quietly being recruited into a botnet. The flaw that lets it happen scored a perfect 10 out of 10, the worst score the system can give. No password, no click, no insider, and it's already being used in the wild. If you run Ubiquiti UniFi gear, the next few minutes are the ones that matter. UniFi OS runs Ubiquiti's networking gear, the box your whole home, small business, or enterprise network routes through, which is exactly why a flaw here is so dangerous. It's not one device getting compromised, it's the hinge the whole network swings on. And here's the part that should get your attention before anything else. One of these flaws is already being used to turn that gear into a weapon aimed at someone else. We'll get to how. First, what we're dealing with. This is 3 vulnerabilities disclosed together in the same bulletin, all in UniFi OS, all rated a perfect 10.0, all confirmed exploited. CVE-2026-34910, the lead, is an improper input validation flaw, CWE-20, that leads to command injection. The device fails to properly check input it's handed, and an attacker can smuggle in commands the device then runs for them. Next to it, CVE-2026-34910, a path traversal weakness, CWE-22, that the vendor says lets an attacker reach files on the underlying system that could be manipulated to get at an account. And CVE-2026-34908, an improper access control flaw, CWE-284, that lets an attacker make unauthorized changes to the system. Input validation, file access, access control. 3 of the load-bearing walls of device security, cracked at once. So why a perfect 10? A 10.0 isn't a vibe, it's math, and the vector string proves it. Here's the one-line verdict. It's reachable over the network, it's dead simple to pull off, it needs no password and nobody to click anything, and the damage doesn't stay in the box. That last part is the one people underrate. 2 metrics carry the weight here. The first is privileges required, none. The attacker needs no account, no credentials, no foothold to begin. The vendor frames it simply as an actor with access to the network, and these devices often are the network. The second is scope, changed. That means the impact escapes the vulnerable component and spills into other parts of the system it was supposed to keep separate. The blast radius leaves the box. Add full impact across the board, total loss of confidentiality, integrity, and availability, and there is simply no combination of factors that scores higher. That's what a 10.0 looks like. Now, from severe to urgent. A high score tells you how bad a flaw could be. The KEV catalog tells you it's actually happening. CVE-2026-34910 is on CISA's Known Exploited Vulnerabilities catalog, the US government's authoritative list of flaws confirmed exploited in the real world. Not a watch list of maybes, a list of what attackers are using right now. And the corroboration is concrete. Per a public write-up dated June 9, 2026, this vulnerability has been exploited in the wild to build a Mirai-style botnet. Here's what that means. Command injection lets an attacker get the device to run commands for them. A botnet is what you get when that's done at scale. Thousands of devices, each one quietly conscripted, then pointed outward to flood targets, scan for new victims, and spread on their own. Mirai is the infamous family that did exactly this with internet-connected gear years ago, and the pattern repeats because it works. So the device you bought to defend your network gets turned into a weapon aimed at someone else's, and you might never see it from the outside. That's the difference between a vulnerability on paper and one with a body count. So, are you affected? The honest answer, if you run UniFi OS devices, assume you need to check today. I won't invent version numbers, because the authoritative list of exactly which builds are affected lives in Ubiquiti's own security bulletin, Bulletin 064, and that's the source to trust over any video. Go there and match your devices and firmware against what the vendor lists. You can also cross-reference CISA's KEV catalog, which tracks all 3 by their CVE IDs. The mindset: anything network reachable you haven't confirmed is patched should be treated as exposed until proven otherwise. Don't assume a device is safe just because it sits behind a router. Remember, these devices often are the network. Here's what to do now. First and most important, patch. Apply the updates Ubiquiti specifies in their bulletin. That's the fix. And with 3 perfect 10s confirmed exploited, this is patch now, not patch this quarter. Second, reduce exposure. Management interfaces for gear like this should never be reachable from the open internet, and the fewer untrusted devices sharing a segment with them, the better. Third, segment and tighten access, since the danger is an attacker with network access. That limits who can even attempt it. Fourth, watch for the symptom. A device pulled into a botnet often shows up as unusual outbound traffic, so unexpected connections from your own infrastructure are worth investigating. And fifth, after you patch, verify against the bulletin that the version you're running is actually the fixed one. Patch, shrink the attack surface, segment, monitor, verify, in that order. Quick recap. 3 perfect 10 vulnerabilities in UniFi OS, all on CISA's exploited list. The lead one already feeding a botnet in the wild. If that's your gear, patch per bulletin 064 today. If this breakdown helped you make a faster, smarter call, subscribe. We decode the day's most dangerous CVE every day. Defense first, no hype. And the full ranked report on today's top vulnerabilities is linked in the description. Stay patched, stay skeptical.